Hi, my name is Vanessa van Dijk, and in this video I'm going to show you how you can use the Minimalist 10% Niacinamide Serum. Now at first I would like to go over the individual main ingredients, and then I want to share with you for whom it is suitable, and lastly the time of use. Then I want to head into my example skincare routines plus conflicts, and then lastly I want to show you the entire application on my face. Now you will find the timestamps below plus the example routines in a PowerPoint. Now, when looking into this serum, it primarily contains 10% of niacinamide, which is a brightening ingredient. So if you should have surface hyperpigmentation or acne-prone skin, and once your acne is gone, you're suffering from reddish marks or even brownish marks, it helps to reduce inflammation, so it calms redness, and it brightens up those dark spots for a more even complexion. Then it also contains a bit of zinc, and together with niacinamide, they help to regulate oiliness. So usually if you have an oily skin type and you're washing your face in the morning, your skin can become oily pretty much right afterwards. It wouldn't take long, then you can already see the oil production going on, and you see the grease and shininess on the skin surface. So what this means when regulating oiliness, it's going to extend this. So instead of getting oily again right away, it's going to take a few hours until you will see the oil again on the skin surface. So this is basically what this means. So you can see this happening throughout the day as well as nighttime when using it. And then it contains a bit of hyaluronic acid, which helps to hydrate the skin temporarily, and it has a plumbing effect. And then lastly, it contains a bit of EUK, which is a great antioxidant that helps to protect the skin from the free radicals, so that the skin barrier can repair itself from the environmental damage that you can gather throughout the day and nighttime. And so overall, this is a very interesting yet unique formulation. It's fragrance-free, and you can get this serum at a very affordable price. Now, for whom is this serum suitable? Well, it is technically suitable for all skin types, but it's more suitable if you have oily to oily acne-prone skin. So just based on the points that I've mentioned just earlier. And then when it comes to the time of use, well, you can use it daily in the morning and or evening. However, I recommend starting off by using it once per day daily, see how this goes. And then if you should feel the need, you can move up to twice per day daily. But I recommend figuring this out so that you can see what your skin can tolerate. Now, when it comes to the example skincare routines that I have prepared for you, then I came up with an example of a morning skincare routine. Same applies to the evening, and I want to keep it simple yet straightforward so that you can see the order of application. Starting off with the morning skincare routine, which you can see right here. So I want to keep the focus towards oilier skin types. Therefore, I picked two great regular cleansers that are suitable for oily skin. So you're going to get started with washing your face, then you're going to rinse it off and then pat the skin dry. Then you're going to use about 3 to 5 drops for your face and neck of the niacinamide serum, apply it to the skin, leave it on the skin, there's no need to wash it off. Give it a moment until it has fully absorbed into the skin, and then follow on with sun protection. Now, sun protection throughout the day is important, especially if you're already battling surface hyperpigmentation and you have a damaged skin barrier. You really want to protect the skin from the damaging UV rays so that the skin has time to heal underneath. So therefore, sun protection throughout the day is important. And then when it comes to your evening skincare routine, it can look pretty much the same. If you're going with the sunscreen that I've recommended in the morning, well, then you can just go ahead and wash your face with your regular cleanser. However, if you should have picked a mineral sunscreen and or wearing heavy pigmented or even waterproof makeup, then I recommend using an oil or balm cleanser instead to properly break it down. Otherwise, your regular cleanser is just more than enough to take everything off the skin. So then again, once you're done with your cleansing step, you're moving on to the application of your niacinamide serum. Once you have applied that one, you're going to leave it on the skin. There's no need to wash it off. Since you have oily skin, it is completely fine to use this serum on its own. You do not have to follow with anything else afterwards. However, if you do, I recommend using a moisturizer that contains natural moisturizing factors. So you can see my example right here. That's a moisturizer that does not seal the skin, but in fact it can to some extent penetrate the skin and repair on your, basically repair and rebuild your skin barrier. And so this is different to a moisturizer that, for example, contains just petrolatum jelly, because your oil is like a seal and therefore you do not need such a moisturizer. So either use nothing at all or use a moisturizer that contains natural moisturizing factors, and then apply it to the skin, leave it on the skin, there's no need to wash it off. Now, when it comes to the conflicts, it's primarily about niacinamide and EUK, specifically towards EUK. Because if you're going to use this serum due to EUK with acidic products, you're going to completely destroy it. So this is basically it with antioxidant support. And so this primarily talks about exfoliating acid cleansers with a low pH. For example, Be Minimalist has a salicylic acid cleanser. My advice would be not using it with this specific niacinamide serum. Therefore, I just went with regular cleansers, like without any exfoliating acids in it. Then the next one would be vitamin C products, specifically talking about ascorbic acid products. So if you have a vitamin C at home where you can see the word ascorbic acid, please do not use them together. Keep them separate. Use one in the morning, the other one in the evening. Same would apply to exfoliating acid leave-on products, which Minimalist does have as well, or even The Ordinary or Paula's Choice, just a few brands to mention which are quite popular. And please do not use this serum after exfoliating acid masks. So again, you have the examples right here. I did include Minimalist products as well so that you have an overall understanding when setting up your skincare routine. So it's best to keep them separate when using your acidic products. And so overall, this would be it mainly for the conflict parts. And now I want to head into the entire application. So when it comes to the application, I have the setup right here, which you can see. It's the same setup that I just presented in my example routines. So we are going to get started with the first step, which is washing your face. So again, make sure that you have clean hands. If your hands aren't clean, wash them at first, and then you're starting off with your cleansing step. So I have as an example Cetaphil's Daily Facial Cleanser right here, which is suitable for oily skin. However, if you're, for example, in India, you may not find the Daily Facial Cleanser, but it's called in your area the Oily Skin Cleanser. So I do want to emphasize it. It's pretty much the same. It's just a different name on the packaging, but it still is meant for oily skin. So if you're using a cleanser for oily skin, well then, first of all, you're going to get started with wetting your face, neck and hands using lukewarm water. Then use about a coin size amount, which is about 1 to 2 pumps of your cleanser on the palm of your hands, and then gently massage it all over your face and neck, and then you're going to rinse it off with water. In between, I highly recommend using a washcloth, which are also known as microfiber cloths or makeup cloths. This is a step that I always like to include in my cleansing videos because I find it is so helpful to properly remove any last traces of maybe sunscreen, makeup, and excess oil, dirt, and sweat, and specifically your cleanser. Because if you're just trying, specifically when doing this above the sink, to take off the cleanser by splashing some water onto the skin, usually there's still some residue left, so therefore I recommend working with a clean and fresh washcloth every time you're washing your face. And so let's go ahead and do this. So now go ahead, take about 1 to 2 pumps, about a coin size amount, on the palm of your hand. Rub your hands together and then gently massage it all over your face and neck for about 30 seconds to a minute, making sure to not get it into your eyes and into your mouth. If that's the case, rinse it with water. So once you have massaged it all over your face and neck, again rinse it off with lukewarm water, making sure that you get most of it off, and then in between use your washcloth. Take your clean washcloth and wet it. Squeeze it out. And now gently swipe it across your face and neck to take off any last residues. So now I recommend rinsing it again and then take a towel and pat the skin dry. And now take your clean towel and pat the skin dry by gently patting all over, and please do not rub, so that you can properly remove the remaining water drops from the skin surface. So once you're done with your cleansing step, you can immediately move on to the next step, which is the application of the 10% Niacinamide Serum. Now, when doing the application, you can use 3 drops for your face and 2 additional drops if you want to include your neck, so that you have enough products to evenly blend it all over and that it has a thin layer all over that can fully absorb into the skin. This is really important. Please do not overdo it. When doing the application, avoid getting it into your eyes nor into your mouth, and please do not use it on top of your eyelids nor on top of your lip. Now, this serum has a darker color because it contains EUK. That's normal, so don't panic. And when doing the application, you can put a few drops on the palm of your hand or on your fingertips or immediately onto the skin and then start blending it all over. So once you have applied it evenly all over, just give it a moment so that the serum can fully absorb into the skin before moving on to the next step. Now, if this is going to be your evening skincare routine and you just want to use the serum on its own, it is completely fine to just stop right here. However, again, as already mentioned earlier, if you now want to follow with a moisturizer, I recommend using one that contains natural moisturizing factors. So as an example, I have right here the ordinary natural moisturizing factors. In general, when doing the application with your moisturizer, use between a pea size amount to a bean size amount and then blend it evenly all over your face and neck. So about that much, more or less. Please do not overdo it with your moisturizer. You just want to have a thin layer all over when doing the application. So, and once you have applied it all over, you're going to leave it on the skin. There's no need to wash it off. And then this is going to be the last step of your evening skincare routine. Now, if you're going to follow this in the morning, using a moisturizer between your niacinamide serum and your sunscreen is in most cases not needed, because your sunscreen is either already hydrating enough, or if you're working with a minimalist sunscreen and you're trying to reduce your oiliness as much as you can, well then you do not want to use a moisturizer in between and you want to immediately move on to your sunscreen application. But because I'm now going to combine the evening and morning skincare routine into one so that you can see the application of the sunscreen as well, I'm now going to use the sunscreen on top. It isn't wrong, but if you have oily skin and you have already a sunscreen that feels hydrating enough, using a moisturizer in between is not needed. It's just going to make your skin much more greasier, so therefore it's best to skip it. Now, when it comes to the sunscreen, again, make sure to apply 10 to 15 minutes before sun exposure and use enough so that you can properly blend it all over your face, neck and ears, and use a bit more if you're going to include your décolletage. So overall, as my general guide, I recommend using about half a teaspoon for face, neck and ears and about 1 teaspoon for the décolletage as well. And so this can be slightly adjusted depending on the sunscreen that you may be using. However, if you're using, for example, COSRX Aloe Sun Cream, that one works extremely well with the guide that I've just presented to you, because you can evenly and properly blend it all over without feeling too heavy. You just have enough to properly blend it and cover the entire area. So I have half a teaspoon right here so that you can see it visually. So about that much, more or less. And then take it off the spoon. Of course, you do not need to use a spoon. I just want to give you an example of how much sunscreen you would need to use for the specific areas. And then blend it evenly all over your face, neck and ears, and maybe décolletage as well. Now, when it comes to the eye part, if you can use your sunscreen around the eyes, including your eyelids, and it does not irritate your eyes, go ahead and continue using it on such an area as well. However, if it should irritate your eyes, please leave out this part, and you either want to change the sunscreen or you just want to wear sunglasses throughout the day to protect this part as well. So once you have applied your sunscreen all over, you're going to leave it on the skin. There's no need to wash it off. And then this would be the example of the morning skincare routine. Now I do want to quickly emphasize that when looking at my PowerPoint and you want to see the steps of the morning and evening skincare routine, you may want to download it and save it to your device. You will find more additional tips and slides to this as well, such as, for example, a completed sunscreen guide. What is important about sunscreen, when you should use it, and how to read your sunscreen labels. Do you need to use sunscreen indoors? Basically read an application guide, which I just demonstrated in this video, and how you can properly take off your sunscreen. You will also find a guide about skincare layering, as well as what can occur when not properly layering your skincare products, such as, for example, pilling, which is quite annoying. And then lastly, on the bottom of the PowerPoints, you will see the product descriptions, which basically are all the products that I have emphasized in my example routines, so that you then can read next to it for whom it is suitable and what it can do for you. And I try to put this in a more easy and understandable way and kept the main focus towards the main ingredients and what's important to know about the individual products. So again, if you do not only want to get the example routines as well as the conflicts, but you want to learn more about skincare in general, you will find everything in the PowerPoint in the description box down below. And so this is what I wanted to share with you. I do hope that you enjoyed this video, that you find it helpful. If you did so, please don't forget to give the massive thumbs up as well as share it with your friends and family. And if you now want to learn more about skincare, you want to see the different applications, I'm going to leave such videos at the end of this video so that you can keep on watching and learn more about it. Now, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon in the next one. Happy skincaring. Bye.